Hey beauties, good evening to you. I'm here reflecting on the leadership of former Prime Ministers the Honorable Portia Simpson Miller and the Honorable Bruce Golding. And I'm thinking to myself, if we as Jamaicans had really understood, they weren't perfect human beings, nobody is. But if as Jamaicans we had truly understood the importance, the significance of their leadership, we would have regarded them even more. I remember when Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller was our Prime Minister and she was beaten down. They were so vitriolic. The rancor was awful in terms of, they spoke about her educational level, how she spoke. And yet, by world leaders, she was so loved. She was so appreciated. The masses really loved her, but I think because of a strong case of arrogance and narcissism and not really understanding leadership in its entirety, notwithstanding she wasn't perfect, but not understanding leadership, we took her leadership for granted. And now we see what is happening in Jamaica. We never really valued her. Similarly, Bruce Golding became the Prime Minister after her. And I don't think as Jamaicans we understood the importance, the significance of him being the Prime Minister of our country. I understood their vision of wanting to take Jamaica on a quantum leap, a jump to become, even if we do not become a first world country, but at least we can begin the process of becoming second into first position, sort of a situation. It has to start somewhere. And they promulgated their visions and the mission they had. And then a spoke was in the roadway and there came a roadblock, a hindrance. Now, some people said because of his own, folly regarding the whole Dodo situation. And some people spoke about, Mama P not being educated enough. She couldn't represent us on the international stage, yet she was loved by the international people and leaders. It was only the Jamaicans that didn't regard her. I remember I just saw some recent things coming up. I remember when Barack Obama was the Prime Minister and they would just use these very disrespectful, degrading memes, putting her, whining behind him whining behind her, and the different memes, some of them putting her against a monkey. And people may think that these are peripheral things and they have no meaning or they have no weight in our democracy, present democracy. Not true. They did, because she was thrown out, by her own, as far as I realized. I remember the entire saga and it broke my heart. And then Bruce came in and demitted office 4.5 years later. And I said, wow. And that was the beginning of sorrows for our country. It just never 7, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 or 20. Jamaica seemed to not be prospering. Now we see a lot of band-aids being put over sores, meaning we see a lot of buildings going up. And don't get me wrong, I love them. They're magnificent. I wish somebody could sponsor me one. Not to say I wouldn't work for it, but not wrong in getting gifts. And I've heard of situations where, I don't know how true it is, where a politician has given their nieces or a niece a house somewhere prestigious. But that's besides the point. It would be nice, as I said, if I could get one of those beautiful, beautiful complexes. Nice, But we have to understand that band-aids will never ever cure sores. It may look nicely covered, and you won't see that big looking nasty sore showing. But when you after a while, it may find that band-aid is bubbling up the sore. Then the sore starts to spread and gets worse. And what is happening by that? By the very same token, I'm saying that with these high-rise buildings and the water issue that we face, although we shouldn't have it, it's going to be very difficult. We have not had a proper rainfall in months in the Kingston metropolitan area. I was listening to a farmer or was it a police officer, somebody was saying for weeks, for about 2 weeks, it just rained incessantly down in the Hanover, that side, area 1 side, you know, and we have been longing for a proper shower, not just tricklings that we've been seeing every now and then. In the Kingston metropolitan here at the area, the heat is unbearable. And these high-rise and these buildings, they're contributing to the heat that we're facing today. I remember a friend of mine said to me, Toni-Ann, this is the coolest our climate will be for this type of, this period that we're in. You know, you have spring, summer, autumn, winter. So we're in the summer period. And the lady came on afterwards, a few weeks later, to echo the same sentiments, you know, that this is the coolest. And if what I'm facing now is the coolest, I don't know, only the grace and the power and the mercy of God will be able to keep us. Even if you live in an air-conditioned house, everywhere is air-conditioned, at some point you must come out of your house. At some point you must be walking towards your vehicle. At some point you have to go on the road. You can't just move from your vehicle or just move into office. You need to get on the road at some point or other. So, you know, our country has not been manned properly since, you know, both leaders that I just spoke about demitted offices, as Portia Simpson Miller, Bruce Golding. My heart weeps. I do apologize. I realized that I said Bruce. I think it was Bruce Golding because he came in office either 2007 or 2008. 4 years later, about 2012, 2013, he demitted office, and then Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller had taken over. You know, I said it the other way around. So, with that reality, Jamaicans, I want you to understand that it is imperative for your benefit that you value treasures, you value precious elements, you value good people. We don't know what we have until it is gone. Jamaica has never seen such suffering or suffering, let me say it that way, in I don't know when. If they did, it had to be before my time or when I was a little girl, when I wouldn't have understand. Two great prime ministers that, you know, as a young adult coming up, fairly young adult. I mean, young adult into fairly now young adult, I would say fairly, a little bit fairly. That's Portia Simpson Miller and Bruce Golding. And that is why I'm not into die-hearted this, die-hearted that. I'm for the one who leads and leads well. I'm for the MP who works and works well. I don't care if you're black, green or gold. That's me. Whoever works. Because the die-hearted spirit has helped to contribute this decadence that we're facing today. This decadence that we're facing today. People are poor and pauperized in droves in this country today. And we not talk dunce, but we not talk tough head, we not talk the ones who are unintelligent, or there's no emotional intelligence, or the IQ is little to none. We're not talking those. We're talking those who can help this country to steer its ship into the right direction and to get to shore and to get to the promised land. The promised land. This country is in a terrible, terrible, terrible state. Crime and violence is like, for some people who drink water every day, throughout the day. Poor salaries, especially among public sector workers, dreadful. Yet some able to get, you know, their salaries. They already had a high salary, plus they got high increases, and every month they get it. Yet some public sector workers can't even get their own. Plus, if they're to get added funds, they can't get it. Anyway, we reap what we sow. Guys, follow me on TikTok, subscribe to my YouTube channel, share